Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today as promised in my last video, I did promise a second review. This is the one that I've most recently finished, and that is going to be on Allegiant by Veronica Roth. Probably my most highly controversial video, or more rather the most highly controversial book, I should say. But this is the cover. And then just like the other two covers, this one is absolutely gorgeous and definitely my favorite of three covers. That is the spine, and the back, and the side. This is also the thickest of the three. And as always, I'm going to read the inside synopsis for you. The faction-based society that Tris Pryor once believed in is shattered, fractured by violence and power struggles, and scarred by loss and betrayal. So when offered a chance to explore the world past the limits she's known, Tris is ready. Perhaps beyond the fence, Tris and Four will find a simple new life together, free from complicated lies, tangled loyalties, and painful memories. But Tris's new reality is even more alarming than the one she left behind. Old discoveries are quickly rendered meaningless. Explosive new truths change the heart of those she loves, and once again Tris must battle to comprehend the complexities of human nature and of herself, while facing impossible choices about courage, allegiance, sacrifice, and love. As I said before, this is the third and final installment in Veronica Roth's Divergent series. And if you have not been watching my channel at all lately, you will know that I love the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. It is my favorite dystopian series. I just think the world, the characters are so awesome and so interesting, and I care about them. I care about coming back to the next book. If I didn't, then why would I wouldn't have continued after the first book, right? That's with almost any series. But I'm sorry to say this, but I kind of hated this book. And we'll get there. We're going to start with my non-spoiler section. I am going to do a non-spoiler section with this because I kind of need to. I want to do a little bit of a rant with this because... But before I begin any of that, if you plan on reading this book and you don't want to be spoiled, I'm not going to spoil you. I'm not going to spoil you on the big ending. I won't do that. So many other people have their reviews have spoiled everything about this book, and I won't do that. Even in my spoil section, I will not give that away. I promise. Because it didn't bother me very much, but of course it was spoiled for me. So maybe that's why. But just so you know, this book. And I have to mention the other books. If you haven't read those, why are you watching this video? Go read Divergent and discover the awesomeness that this series has to offer, because despite this book, it's an amazing series. This book continues almost immediately after the ending of Insurgent, with the release of the video that everybody in the faction is kind of given somewhat of a slap in the face to everything that they have ever believed in has been engineered and created for them for a bigger purpose, for a bigger goal. And that was a twisted ending. That was a massive plot twist of Insurgent that Veronica snuck into the ending of that second book, and it's one of the main reasons why Insurgent will always be my favorite, because I never in a million years saw that coming. So, right on Veronica on that one. This book continues immediately. There is a lot going on, and for such a thick book, there is so much going on in this book, despite how much I really disliked it. Tris and Four and Christina and all the other main characters that you meet throughout this series are yet at another turnpike. We have yet another tyrant in this novel. It is not Janine. Janine is gone. She has been dealt with. I won't say what happened to her. I won't say she's alive or dead. She's just been dealt with. I don't want to spoil Insurgent either, especially since it's my favorite of the series. She's been dealt with, but we have Four's mother. I hated her. Just saying. I really didn't like her. But this book follows a lot of our main characters, and what's really interesting about this book is told in dual perspective. We get Triss's point of view and Four's point of view. And I did say Four. I actively refuse to call him Tobias. His name is Four and always will be. Sorry. It just always will be. I just don't like his real name of Tobias. I mean, it's a great name and everything, but I was introduced to that character as Four, and Four is my favorite character in this entire series, so he will be Four in my eyes forever. Anyway, on to the review, guys. Sorry, I'm getting off track here. It's so easy with this book because I really didn't like it. But let's get into the things of why. But let's talk about the plot. For starters, the plot is the book starts off with Triss is in jail, and if you've read the second book, come on, you guys have read the first two books, or you wouldn't be watching this if you didn't, or either that or you have no interest in it. But Triss is in jail because of the events that Insurgent brought, because she did kind of betray them to get this information, to get the video, being able to be there, and it was a really interesting opening because I already knew this book was going to be told in dual perspective. That was released months before this book came out, or, well, no, not months, but a couple weeks before. I think it was a tweet that Veronica had said that this book wasn't just going to be in Triss's point of view, but we'll have to find out who it's going to be. I don't think I remember quite well. This book's been out for a couple of years now, so. By the way, if you guys did not know, I of course bought this book the day it came out. And so, with everything that happened and that ending, and with everything that Four's mother Evelyn is doing, pardon me, we have a new kind of everybody, all the factions. The faction system doesn't exist anymore. That's one of my biggest problems with this book. It was one of the main reasons I fell in love with the Divergent series, because all 5 factions believed in different things. They all dress differently, they act differently, they have different personalities, the way they live is differently, the way they even date people is a little differently, to the things they would eat, the way they would speak. Everything about the 5 factions was so different. I understand there is a war with these factions going on, but that's what I loved about this series, is we got to see so many different people in such a new light, and then as soon as the second book ended, there's no faction system anymore. Everybody is just this one people, and I absolutely hated it. It bothered me so badly in this book. The factions are still there, but there's not really a faction system anymore that the people live by, which I really don't like. That was number 1 on my list of dislikes. But what the main plot of the book is, I'm so sorry this video is everywhere. I'm sorry, my emotions are still fresh on this book, and I'm just trying to say what I want it to not be scripted, and I don't do scripted videos. Scripted videos, it's fine for other people, but not for me. But the main goal of this book is they do, in fact, go beyond the fence. That is what the Allegiant are. The Allegiant is a group of people that they want to follow the video's instruction. They want to go beyond the fence and see what else is out there. I was very excited about this book for those reasons. I wanted to see what kind of a world did they really come from. I wanted to really see that. I wanted to see what kind of world did they come from. A freaking fantasy world? Did they come from our world? This is a dystopian, so we kind of knew it was going to be somewhat realistic. But that's also where the disappointment dropped as well. That was number 2 or 3 on my list. I forgot. Sorry. But it was so disappointing to me. I won't get into it because I won't spoil it for other people, but the few things that I did find really enlightening is that the characters, they didn't know what alcohol was, or cigarettes, or a movie. And cars do exist in this world, but they only exist in only the faction leaders have vehicles to travel around. If you have a car, most likely it is it's taken from you because in the world of dystopian Chicago, they wanted to keep everything from the world that once was to be far away. That's why they never allowed so much stuff to interfere. That's why there's very, very little technology. There's very little of those things in the world that they live in. And I didn't have a problem with any of that. No technology, but they had some technology like public bathrooms and sinks and stuff like that. But it was just really different. This book ended up being a 1 out of 5 for me, because I kept reading and reading and reading, and I was disappointed. It was just like the stars started falling off of my review as I was reading, and I was so disappointed. I have never been more disappointed by the ending of the series, and I didn't have super high expectations for this, but my expectations were still pretty high for the last installment. I mean, the hype and like how they publicized this book was huge. I expected this to be for something that I knew was going to be pretty big, a bomb-ass, kick-ass, epic finale to a phenomenal trilogy. And it disappointed on every count, and I'm really happy that I'm not the only person that didn't like this book. I'll always keep it, of course. Normally I don't like to keep books that I don't like, but it goes with my other 2 in the series. And will I see the Allegiant movies? Because it's going to be in 2 parts, naturally, like everything else has been. I don't know. If it's anything like the Mockingjay Part 1 and 2s, I might. I had problems with the Mockingjay novel as well, but that one is still a better ending to a trilogy than this was. To me, the shocking twist ending, I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. I'm not going to say what it was, because I want to keep the majority of this video spoiler free. That's why I'm being super freaking vague. Because with a book that's been talked about this much and has this much controversy, I'm not going to go deep into the spoilers. I will say it didn't surprise me when I got to it. Mainly because I was already spoiled by some people earlier. I was kind of sad about that. But it didn't super surprise me when I did get to it. I felt like it was a cop-out. It was a cop-out, and it was a major slap in the face to every single fan who devoted their time into reading this series. Because back when this came out on October 22nd, 2013, people invested years of their life waiting to see how this story concluded, and it just was a massive, massive disappointment. And do I regret starting this series? No, I don't, because the first 2 books will always have that very special place in my heart, and I will always reread those. I just don't think I'm going to be rereading this one. At least not for at least a few years. Maybe before Allegiant Part 2 comes out, I'll probably give this book a reread, but that's not for a while, so. But I will say the one interesting part of this book is the things that Veronica touched on that I felt like were really, really important. It was probably one of the very few redeeming qualities that this book had was when they introduced things like the truth serum and the memory serum. I thought those were really, really interesting and really kind of fascinating to read about. And another thing that I really liked about this book was people, humanity. Why do we do the things we do? Is it genetics? Is it are we born with it? Is it just because that's what humanity is and that's what us as a species is going towards? It kind of puts to balance whether we are genetically pure or genetically damaged. Those were some of the elements that this book had that I really, really enjoyed. I found them to be completely fascinating. But also, I felt like I was reading a textbook at the same time, at parts. And other parts of this book felt like Veronica Roth didn't even write it, which we all know she did. But at some parts, I felt like this book belonged in a different series, and also at parts it kind of read almost as fan fiction. I hate to say, but overall, it was just a really big disappointment. And since this video is about 16 minutes long now, I am going to stop this review now and let you go to your thoughts. Leave down below what you thought of Allegiant. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Keep it spoiler free if possible, please. I don't want to spoil anybody on this book. But that's the cover. Again, the spine. It is an okay read. Maybe 1 star is a bit harsh. Maybe a 2 stars for this. I think that's pretty fair. For me, that's being really generous, believe it or not. And there's a lot more I want to say. If you guys ever want to see a spoiler review of this, where I do nothing but spoil this book, let me know, and I might consider doing that. But overall, having really hyped, excited expectations for this book, it did not deliver. I'm hoping with Veronica Roth's new series that she is working on right now, which comes out in like 2017, I think. I think it's going to be a 2-book series. Hopefully that will kind of bring my love of her writing back, because writing-wise, this book was awesome. But I did have to kind of remember it parts because it's told in multiple perspective. It's told between Tris and Ford, so the chapters alternate between the 2 points of view. But what I also think that this is really pretty. That is awesome. But anyway, that is my review of Allegiant by Veronica Roth. Like I said, if you are really interested in this series, I will have links for both Divergent and Insurgent in the description box below if you're interested in checking out this series, or to just see what I thought of them. They are in the link below. But that's my reviews for today, and I will see you guys in my next video, which probably will be in just a few days. And I hope you guys are having a great day. And I'm really sorry I couldn't love the book. It does happen on occasion, but sorry. But this is a very honest channel, and if I love a book, I'm going to tell you guys exactly why I love it. If I don't love it, I'm going to tell you exactly what I would say sometimes to not even read the book. I mean, it did have some intriguing elements here and there, but overall, I was disappointed by it. And I did cry, not because of the ending, but because it was a series that I loved for so long, and it was a huge letdown. I know I should go, but there's a couple more things I want to say before I forget. The one thing that I do not like that fans are saying about, and I won't say who said this because I don't do that, but some people are saying, I understand why she did what she did. And then other people are saying that's the only way she could have ended it. I'm not a writer or anything. I've said many times I'm writing a book and things like that, but I always get I get started and then it takes me forever to continue. But that's a thing for another video. The thing that really bothered me was that's not how she could have ended it. I can picture so many different scenarios in my head right now, this very second, in fact, of different ways she could have ended this story, and it could have been a much better ending to the story. And the ending, I felt, was not justice to these characters. These characters have been through so much shit over 3 books, and this was the ending we got. It was a cop-out, slap in the face, at least to me. I don't know about other people, but just me personally, of what I experienced reading these pages, I just didn't care for it. She changed her characters as well. Tristan and Four are not the same characters that they were in the first two books. And I guess you could say that as character development, sure, but I didn't think so. Anyway, I'm not trying to bash the book. This was one of the most highly recommended, highly hyped, I wanted to read this book so badly and continue their story, and reading that awesome book that was Insurgent, I was expected to go into something even more awesome, and it just wasn't. So I'm hoping with some of these other dystopian series they have delivered so far, the two I've read now have been both kind of letdowns, but Mockingjay gave true justice not only to the trilogy, but the characters as well as the storyline. But anyway, that is my review of Allegiant by Veronica Roth. Once again, let me know what you thought of it down below. Let me know what you thought of my review. I hope I touched on a lot of the things that everybody else has been saying. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I love you guys. Bye.